welcome in. It's the PAWSitively Petland Show, AM 800 KXIC, Iowa City. I'm Jay Caper and Ron Salford here, Petland of Iowa City, and a couple of pups. I just had that miniature pinscher on my chest, and he almost fell asleep. I decided to let him run around, though. He wants to play with his buddy. Who is the buddy? What kind of dog is that? The buddy.
We have a miniature pinscher and we have a West Highland Terrier.
A West Highland Terrier. That's the white one that's running around here. So we've got two beautiful puppies here in studio running around. Ron's cleaning up behind them as they're leaving a few Christmas gifts here at the KXIC studios. We're going to talk about the four basic needs of puppies and what you need to know about that. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about the amazing background and history of the miniature pinscher, which I think a lot of listeners will find fascinating. It's a very interesting story. Plus, a lot of people may think that the pinscher comes from the Doberman pinscher and they found a way to shrink it and make it smaller. That's not the case. In fact, the miniature pinscher was first. We'll learn about that. That's going to be a part of our show.
To make things bigger.
That's right. And then we're going to also talk about the most popular food at the pet store. People want to know what other people are buying all the time. What's the trend? What's hot? We'll tell you what's hot in the pet food world because it's their number one seller. And Ron will tell you what that brand is. But that's called a radio tease. You have to wait to find out and what that's all about. If a clue is that there's a patch on his shirt that has that, you could put up to the camera. So only the people that are on our YouTube are going to know what that is. So there you go, a little advantage of watching on YouTube.
Yeah, I noticed it was reversed on YouTube. So
is it?
Yeah, I wonder if it flips it back around though.
Yeah, probably. So Ron, how are things going at the pet store? Good.
It's Christmas.
Yeah.
If when you come in. I apologize if you don't like it, but we have music. We've had music for a few months now. And I've been just massaging the playlist and stuff like that. And I'm trying to find something that's just fun overall, perk you up kind of a thing. So we have that normal playlist. And then when I went into fall, I had a kind of a Thanksgiving-ish kind of a theme playlist going. They didn't really like that. They actually I had to pull the plug on that in a couple of days. They said, no, it isn't cutting it. Then I put together a jazzy Christmas, like pre-Christmas, pre-Thanksgiving and all that. And I was really happy with that. And I think that I didn't hear as much rumbling. Just yesterday put on the Bing Crosby, the Dean Martin, all that.
Classics.
Yeah. So we've got that
Good
going.
Stuff.
You can subscribe to our playlist because we're on Spotify. Or we do Spotify.
There you go.
And so you can always subscribe to it on there.
And I would definitely be remiss to not mention, since you mentioned that I have to mention iHeartRadio has the North Pole Radio. Santa's the DJ.
There it is.
So there you go. North Pole Radio is another thing.
I love Christmas music.
There's lots of options
and the
out there
difference
too.
Between iHeartRadio and Spotify, iHeart is free.
There you go. Absolutely. Good job. We're plugging our company here, which is great. And but I like it. We put up our tree the other day. We put on North Pole Radio, and Santa's in between the songs talking to the kids and stuff. It's cool.
I gotta check that out.
Yeah, it's called North Pole Radio. And then they also have the Christmas classics and other ones you just put on and let it go, which is great. And so the holiday music, one thing I will recommend, and this came from a listener years ago. It's one of my favorite CDs now. And if she's listening, she knows that what I'm about to say, Christmas in New Orleans. It's a awesome CD, and it's New Orleans sound with all the horns and everything, and it's got that type of theme, but it's all the classics.
Oh,
so it's New Orleans jazz, and it's Christmas music.
It'll be added today.
I think you'll like it. Yeah. So look for that. It's called Christmas in New Orleans, and I've got some of the music I can send to you if you want to add that to your playlist, because it's upbeat and it's just got that nice jazzy sound of New Orleans, and it's Christmas music. It's great. Anyway, enough about Christmas music. Let's find out about our amazing pet story of the week and find out what else is going on. While I pull up the pet story, Ron, just tell us a little bit about your store.
We're Petland of Iowa City. We're located in the Marketplace Mall, used to be Sycamore Mall. And so it's across the parking lot from Lucky's Market and that great movie theater that we have in Iowa City. Our hours of operation, we're open on Sunday today from noon until 6, and then every other day we're open from 10 a.m. until 9 p.m. So come on in. We are geared up for Christmas at this point. We are getting shipments in even with that every day. So, if there's something that you're not seeing, let us know, and we'll let you know when that's that shipment's planned on coming in and all that kind of stuff. But a lot of really cool gifts, clothing, boots, all that kind of stuff are in the store. We also, our mission is to match the right pet with the right family, but also for those families that already have pets, to enhance your knowledge, enjoyment of that whole, relationship that you have with your pet. So come on in if your child is like kind of bored with that guinea pig or the rabbit or whatever it is, hamster, fish, come on in and we can help you with here's an idea, kind of thing, whether it's a purchase or just get a laser beam and do this with your cat kind of a thing. So we'll have a lot of great ideas. You can't beat a $5 nail trim. And we'll do that every day of the week. No appointments necessary. So come on in and get a nail trim. And then all of our dog food and cat food is on a buy 10, get one free. We track it for you.
Nice.
And we know, and Jay knows it's a party in the line when there is a free one.
Oh, this one's free? All right.
All right. Yeah.
Good stuff.
I mean, that could add up to be some big bucks.
Yeah, it can. Good deal. All right. That's Ron Salzer. This is the Positively Petland Show. And it's time now for the amazing pet story of the week.
It's time for the amazing
got a Santa hat on again.
Of the week.
Don't forget those kids, the pups, and your kitties around the holiday season. He makes his way out of the studio quickly, just wearing a Santa hat, and that's it today. That's all he's decided to wear, which is not very appropriate in a business setting, Mr. Big Voice Guy. Jeez Louise. There's people around here.
Little puppies running around here. I know. Cover their eyes.
Cover those little eyes. All right, so today for the amazing pet story of the week, this is a great story. A golden retriever service dog named Figo saved a blind woman's life in an effort to jump in. He jumped in front of a bus to stop this person from getting. Yeah, this is amazing.
Is he okay?
Yes, broken paw. Looks like a broken leg. They have a little cast on the leg. It's a golden retriever. And how about this? Brewster Village Police Chief John DeGardo saying, "I've seen dogs protect owners when an intruder's coming into them, but never from an automobile. I've never seen that before." Audrey Stone is the woman that Figo guides and was walking through an intersection on North Main Street on Monday morning when a bus struck the pair in the center of the walkway. Right before it happened, the dog did something very heroic, sort of lunging at the bus. And it ended up injuring its front leg and paw, but putting itself in between the bus and the woman that he guides. And just another amazing story of dogs who have done this for years, not only loving their owners and becoming part of the family, but literally putting themselves at risk. We see that happen a lot of times with the amazing pet story, jumping in front of a rattlesnake, getting between themselves and danger, putting themselves in danger, and getting in between something dangerous and the owner, because of that instinct, whatever that is that they have, is part of the reason we love these furry friends, which Ron is putting up to the camera right now. West Highland Terrier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, West Highland Terrier just waved at the camera there. And here comes the Miniature Pinscher. And if you want to see what these pups like, you got to get on our YouTube channel. You can check that out. Just go to YouTube and type in Petland radio show, Positively Petland show. It'll pop up. And a really cool story there today. I thought dog who jumped in front of a bus to try to save that woman. And he did save the woman. So good job, Figo. And that is your amazing pet story of the week. Coming up, it's the second part of the show. We'll talk about the 4 needs of puppies, dogs, and we'll talk about the most popular pet food at Petland of Iowa City. We'll be right back. All right. Promo?
Yes.
Screwed that up. Boy, they're running.
I know.
All right, here we go. And what is the 11th? Is Sunday? Guess so. All right, in 3, 2. AM 800 KXIC morning host Jay Capron here with Ron Salzer from Petland of Iowa City. What are we going to talk about this week, Ron?
We're going to review the breed that Pack-a-Punch Miniature Pinscher.
Oh.
We're going to find out the history of that one, and then we're going to go through the 4 basic needs of a dog or puppy. What are you getting yourself into if you're thinking of going down that path? And then finally, the most popular food in our store is health extensions. Find out what that is.
That's the Positively Petland show, Sunday mornings at 9 and at KXIC.com.
So I did it. Oh yeah, I'm experienced at this. Oh yeah.
Welcome back. It's the PAWSitively Petland Show, AM 800 KXIC, KXIC.com. If you just tuned in, you missed the story about Figo jumping in front of a bus to save his owner's life, Audrey. Great story out of New York. That was our amazing pet story of the week. We have a breed of the week, which we do every week. We learn about the history of a breed, and I think you'll really be fascinated with today's breed, the Miniature Pinscher. We'll find out why in just a few minutes. Plus, the 4 needs of a dog or pup. We'll tell you about that, and the most popular pet food at Petland of Iowa City. That's all coming up. Right now, Ron Salzer will tell us about the Miniature Pinscher.
All right, so everybody thinks the Miniature Pinscher is a descendant of the Doberman Pinscher. We're going to find au contraire.
Au contraire.
All right, so where does the Miniature Pinscher originate from? What do
Germany.
You think? Yeah. The Miniature Pinscher originated in Germany. The first representation of the breed appears in a 17th century. So what is that, 3 years ago?
3
years ago, 300 years ago?
1600, so 400, yeah, 400.
400?
Yeah.
I always get confused on those.
I do want to mention real quick, if you hear a little background,
little pitter-patter?
Yeah, that's the dogs, just so you know. They're the Miniature Pinscher. I don't know who's chasing who.
They go back and forth.
They're going back and forth.
Kind of a tag.
And a West Highland Terrier. I mean, it's pretty loud though, so I'm guessing listeners, if they're listening in when we're not talking, you might hear the little pitter patter. Anyway, go ahead.
All right, so we're just going through what AKC has to say about the Miniature Pinscher. 17th century painting is where they first saw it. Cat-sized dog resembling the Miniature Pinscher of today. That makes the Miniature Pinscher an older breed than the Doberman Pinscher, which didn't emerge until the late 1800s. I think that is really interesting.
Me too.
Historians tell us that the Miniature Pinscher breed sprang from the genetic crosses of the German Pinscher, the Dachshund, and the Italian Greyhound. So I think the German Pinscher is going to have some things that you go, oh, well, that's where the Doberman comes from. And so there's probably some bloodlines there. But the Dachshund and the Italian Greyhound truly come out in this breed. When you look at the Dachshund and then look at a miniature Doberman Pinscher, you go, oh, I see the resemblance, really a lot there in colors. And the Italian Greyhound is what gave them the longer legs. From these ancestors, the Min Pin, fanciers lovingly call it the Min Pin, gets his feistiness, fearlessness, and speed and grace from these breeds. By the 19th century, the Ray Pinscher, as he was called in Germany. So in Germany, this Miniature Pinscher is called a Ray Pinscher, and that's REH. If you're looking it up, as the Miniature Pinscher tugs on my shoelace. Let's see here. Their size and speed enabled them to get closer to the domestic pets and keep them from eating foodstuff and wreaking havoc, going into that they hunt the vermin, the rats, the mice, and the moles and stuff like that. Then the Miniature Pinscher has had a fascinating history since its creation, kept a secret in Germany and Scandinavia. And the Min Pin was first imported into the United States around 1919. So that's quite a few years of unknown. We didn't even know about it. Also, Scandinavia got in on it. Going into a little more of the characteristics, although the Min Pin has undergone many changes for the better.
Troublemakers.
Yeah, pulling down the internet there. Especially as to the shape of the head, eyes, and general conformation, his character and love of his people remain unchanged. He is the ideal playmate and companion for young and old alike, all that one could wish for in a house dog, and admired and respected wherever he goes. Yeah, he has that respectful stature, kind of long, thin legs, head high, kind of a thing.
Pointed ears, too.
Yes. They are adaptable enough to create their own exercise programs. I think that was kind of cute, which means they like to, they're a playful and they're content with themselves kind of a thing. Yet can keep up with their owners on hikes. So this dog can get out there. Min Pins are great with children who are taught how to handle small dogs and understand they are living, breathing animals, not toys to be mishandled. I think that could be said for any dog. I think that's a really good reason to get a pet in general, is to show the respect for life. So that's a good comment there. Min Pins enjoy playing chase and tug of war, but also
on display, right?
Yes, and need to know they can go away to a safe place to rest if need to. And then finally, the Miniature Pinscher is easy to care for, only requiring a good coat and toothbrushing, an occasional bath, and nail clipping. Your breeder will be able to guide you along with your veterinarian about health issues that arise, which are not many. It's a smaller breed, so they tend to be a little easier on the health side of things. When training and living with a Min Pin, owners must have a sense of humor, and lots of patience, and be as adaptable as their dog. So it's a nice family breed, what it ends up being. It is a smaller breed. It is a shedding breed, but because it is a small breed, the shedding, therefore, is less.
I was going to say that can't be much. Just looking at this little guy here, that short hair, and not even that. Obviously, he's going to get a little bigger than he is today, but I can't imagine there'd be too much hair around the house from these little guys.
No, I have a dachshund that's actually more than, weighs more than a Miniature Pinscher, and I don't see any. Your tolerance level is going to be different. So those that are like no shedding whatsoever, go get a non-shedding, more of a non-shedding dog. If you're like, if I don't see it, I don't really care about it. And in our house, I would say that we have a clean house. We're a very clean family, especially with just Wendy and I now in the house. And we don't notice Callie's hair anywhere. She just, when I give her a bath, that's the only time I see it. Gilbert, so what? He is about the same. Well, he is the same weight as our Callie, our dachshund, but is a longer hair. We see that hair throughout the house. So that's the difference. We notice it for our cat, but we don't notice it at all for our dachshund. So these shorter hair, smaller breeds are really low maintenance when it comes to that. And the shedding that they do, it's not all that significant. So nice dog in that way. Really easy to take care of. When you need to take a bath, you go to the sink. You don't have to go to the bathtub or anything like that. Very playful. So if you're looking for, that kind of a dog, a Miniature Pinscher is right up your alley, and good to train. The going through the potty training and the sit, stay, come, and all that kind of stuff. They thrive on engaging you in that way. So be a really nice pet for the family, or if you're a single, to make a family.
I love it. It's the Miniature Pinscher, the Min Pin, our breed of the week. And whether it's a Min Pin or any of the other breeds, there's 4 basic needs. Ron, tell us what those needs are.
All right. So all pets, and this is the way we structure our store, have behavioral, maintenance, environmental, and nutritional needs. And when you are in our store, that, we're trying to, find out, okay, well, what kind of pets do you have at home? And then what we're thinking is okay, how can I help you if you need help with something in one of these 4 or multiple areas that will help benefit you and your pet's relationship, kind of a thing, and just help you take care of your pet more. So today, just wanted to cover those 4 basic needs for a puppy / dog. So those that are thinking of getting a puppy, this is a great time to go, oh, didn't think of that. That's a little more work than I thought. For those that have dogs, oh, I need to get that. That's really good. So we're going to keep it somewhat fast paced here, because there is quite a few of little topics that we're going to go through. And we go through these topics in other episodes in much more detail, but this is just that roundabout general. So a kennel for your dog or puppy. Think of a kennel like a crib is to a baby. The kennel is used for all sorts of great things, including when they go to bed, including potty training, including timeout, just like you would use a room for a toddler. So it has a lot of great uses. Safety is a huge one. So a kennel for a dog is really important. Think of it like a crib for a baby. Housebreaking aids are things that you can use to help your dog pee in certain areas. I like to think of it as urine in a bottle. So dogs are attracted when they smell urine, and they're enticed to then urinate. So we have a product that you can actually spray in an area. They smell it, they get the urge, and they want to go do it right there. So know that there's products out there like that. Puppy treats and dog treats are the #1 way to communicate in a loving, fun, encouraging way. So puppy treats are used to reinforce good behaviors. If they're doing something, you want to give them a treat while they're doing it, so that they know over time they'll make the pattern. They'll see the pattern, and they'll want to keep on doing that. Then we go into collars and harnesses. I think we all get the collar that's around the neck. It has the dog tags. We can engrave those in the store. Harnesses are used for walking, but walking only. A lot of people will leave the harness on the dog, and they unfortunately find out that the dog will chew through it. So harnesses are just for walking. There are even specialty harnesses that help reduce the dog from pulling. So there's some really neat things that you want to learn about there. Deterrents and repellents are those things that you can either by taste or smell discourage your dog and or cat from going or getting into certain things. So Boundary is a spray, which is a repellent. So if you're trying to keep them out of the Christmas tree, just do a light spray, not a heavy spray. You'll find out it works really well in the Christmas tree area. And then for that time, they don't want to be anywhere near it. You do have to reapply repellents and deterrents. The chewing deterrents are those like bitter apple. We know is a really popular brand. We have, I think, 4 or 5 different versions of chew deterrents in our store. Some alcohol based, which is what bitter apple is. Some that don't have alcohol. Why is Ron pointing this out? Because if you're trying to get them to stop licking a paw or a wound, you don't want to spray alcohol on it. So we have one really, really good product that does not use alcohol. You spray it there, and when they go to lick it again, they go, "Oh my goodness, it tastes bad." So they go away from it. So those were behavioral. You're modifying behavior or working with their behavior. Getting on to the maintenance side of a dog. Shampoos, conditioners, and colognes. So shampoos, if you're shampooing your dog and you like, oh gosh, I just wish this dog would not stink so much, recommend washing them multiple times at the same time. So with all my dogs, I lather them up a minimum of twice, unless they got into something or it's been like 2 weeks between shampoos. I'll do it even a third time. I even let the shampoo sit on my dog for a couple of minutes just to sit, and then I scrub it up, and then I rinse it off again. Shampooing twice is really key. If you've got allergies, shampoo 5 times. It is just a magic thing that I found out a long time ago, that people with allergies, because we have allergies in our house, if you shampoo your dog or cat 5 times and rinse them out thoroughly through each one, you're going to remove most of those allergens off your cat or dog, and it works really good. The conditioners, all conditioners are not created equal. There are good conditioners, and then there are great conditioners. So when you pay a little more, you get a lot more. So know that on the conditioner side. If you have a longer hair dog, you want to use a conditioner, you will really appreciate it. Colognes are becoming more and more popular. I wash my dogs at least once a week, unless they get into something, and then it's more frequent. But then I have a dachshund, a hound, that gets stinky. So I use that cologne to get us through those areas. And we have some wonderful, very unique colognes in our store that you can choose from. And I like mixing it up, because different colognes, I guess it's kind of like ladies. And Jay, you're a big cologne guy. I can tell. This place has your scent all over. No, I'm just joking. But it's fun to mix it up with different types of colognes out there. Now getting into more of the hair. So you got brushes, combs, de-shedders. There are a lot of different combs out there. The wire brush is what I like for just maintenance. I like what's called a slicker. That's the one with a lot of little wires on it. We even have them where it likes to accumulate hair as you're bringing it through the dog. We have one where it has a little push button ejector, so you don't have to struggle getting the hair out of it. So there's those kind of brushes. There's the flea combs. There's all sorts of things. Then there's the de-shedder comb or the Furminator, and then there's a couple of them out there that mimic the Furminator. But those de-shedding combs in our store work really, really well and are worth the extra money that you put into it because they really get the hair out. So think of the de-shedder comb if you have a shedding dog and you're getting tired of that. We use it on our cat on a regular basis and really knock down the shedding within our cats to the point where it's not that big of a deal. Then getting into nail clippers and this product called styptic powder. We do $5 nail trims at the store, no appointments necessary. And there are just a couple of, I like the kind of nail clippers that are more like scissors. They come from 2 angles to cut the nail. There's this one, and it's kind of odd that it's called this, but it's called a guillotine. It only has a blade on one side. I don't like that one as much because it compresses the nail more and it seems to just produce a little more pain. And so my thing is let's make this painless or as little as possible. So I have the cutting going on both sides. We have, the small and the large versions for whatever hand size you have and dog kind you have. Regardless of what nail clipper you get, always get styptic powder. You'll find if you hit the quick, if you got those dark nails, you just can't avoid it. It just happens. You're going to need styptic powder. What is great about styptic powder is that it stops the bleeding quickly. It is a blood coagulant, and some of these styptic powders actually have a little pain reliever in them and a little antiseptic in them too. So they're wonderful. You get this if you're going to do your own nail clipping. Make sure you get styptic powder. Then getting into toothpaste and toothbrushes and other things that work with the breath and the dental hygiene. There is a lot of products in this. In February, we'll actually devote the month to just talking through all these. But know that if you have a plaque producer in your house, toothpaste and a toothbrush is going to be key. That toothpaste is actually a treat in itself. It tastes good to the dog, so they're going to enjoy it. But then there's another product out there, a gel that you can actually squirt into their mouth, and it does a lot of this for you. So if you have any questions on that, come into the store and we'll talk to you about it. The stain and odor remover. So we're still on the maintenance side of things. Stain and odor remover with the enzyme in it is key. If your dog pees or your cat pees in the house, that leaves a mark. They love to come back and do it again there. So make sure you have that stain and odor remover with the enzyme in it. We, again, have multiple versions of this in our store. Come on in. It is, to me, the number one tool next to the kennel you have to have in your house. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, I would encourage you to come in and just inquire about it, and we'll show you what it's all about. Again, on maintenance side of things on your dog, does your dog have those tearing eyes? Hey, come on in. We got a 3-step approach to that. How to clip that area, the hair, or removing it from there, then coming back and wiping that area with some special products to remove as much of that redness as possible, and then a treat to give your dog or cat, mostly dogs, to internally prevent that as much as possible. So that's on tear staining. Ear cleaning, that's another thing that you might want to consider, especially some dogs are prone to mites and just dirty ears. And a lot of people don't like the smell of a dog. It's primarily their ear in so many different cases. So keep those ears clean. Remember about flea and tick. We are coming out of the flea and tick season right now. But if you experienced fleas on your dog in your house over the summer, do not stop. Those eggs and larvae are still on your dog and in your house, and they will continue to hatch for quite a bit of time. Don't stop throughout the winter, or you're going to be in February battling them again. Pooper scoopers, we all kind of know about, and travel bags and carriers and stuff like that. Those are things that you want to consider. Moving on to environmental needs of your dog, including the water bottle in the kennel, just to make sure that they are hydrated well. Food bowls and water bowls, and there's different ways you can do it, but it's basically a bowl on the ground. But some people like a little bit of pizzazz and style, and so you can get into those. There are bowls out there that slow down a dog eating, so it prevents the gulping. And then there's tie outs and stakeouts. That's not something that you want to leave your dog for long periods of time doing. But I am telling you, when we got Susie, 7 or 8 years ago, she was just this tiny little thing, and I wanted her with me in the summer out in the yard, but I had to fix the car. I had to work on the car. I loved the fact that I was able to tie her out. She was able to enjoy the day, enjoy the sun, all that kind of stuff. I was able to just, kind of gaze over there, look, and make sure she's okay, and then interact with her from time to time. I have a very fond memory of that. And so you can use tie outs and stakeouts for dogs in really great ways. Dog beds. This is the dog bed season. We have a lot of different beds out there that you can use for yours, whether it's a thin mat. Hey, does your dog make messes? We've got beds that are really easily maintained. Don't forget about your ID tag that we mentioned earlier. So that's the environmental side of the pet. And then moving finally on to nutritional. So if you haven't caught on, we're like buzzing through this. I'm going as fast as I can. Nutritional, all dog foods and cat foods are not created equal. When you go to the marts and the grocery stores, they are selling based on price. That's okay. That's the way that market works. But if you want a premium food, some of the benefits you're going to see is you're going to feed half as much because they have more digestible ingredients in these dog foods and cat foods. So you'll feed half as much. Hey, did you get that point right there? You're going to spend more on it, but you're going to feed less of it. It ends up being a wash in cost. So you might as well go to a premium food and get that benefit because you're going to pick up half as much poop at least. Plus, those premium foods most frequently then also up the glucosamine and the chondroitin, the fatty acids and the omega-3s, so that you can actually make your cat or dog healthier along the way. You will see, those omega-3s, fatty acids, when we started feeding premium dog food to Callie, our dachshund, her coat got shiny and really beautiful. So we love that. Plus, you're going to feed half as much, and we didn't have to pick up as much. Also on nutritional is appetite stimulants. If you are having, whether it's a health issue or a puppy issue kind of a thing where they're just not eating like they should, there's actually a puppy boost out there where you can feed this to your dog. And it's kind of like peanut butter where you take a swath of it and they don't get a choice of whether they eat it or not. You rake it against the roof of their mouth and then they go, oh, that tastes really good. And they then are encouraged to eat more. And so that's a great product to have just in case your old dog is having some issues. This is a way to perk them up so they start eating again. And then finally, canned food on the nutritional aspect. This is I think an overlooked product now. Canned food when I was a kid was the only food I ever saw anybody feed their dogs. But then we got into the kibble and we've kind of gotten away from the can. Realize the canned food nutritionally is a lot less. There is a lot of water in canned food. But that's a huge benefit because you're going to hydrate your cat or your dog more by feeding them canned food. You can really spice up their meal with canned food because they really like the taste and everything. And there are some wonderful canned foods out there that I think most of you would smell and go, I would eat that stuff. It smells so good. So there's some really great changes that occurred on canned food. And then finally, you know what? I'm going to add one to nutritional because it is such a great thing. And we use it daily in our house. Dehydrated food, whether it's freeze-dried or dehydrated. These foods, you got to check them out if you haven't. With the puppies, when we bring them home and they're just overnight for our shows and stuff like this, we start feeding them the hard kibble, but we sprinkle these freeze-dried foods over the top. They dive into this stuff and go really crazy for it. And the whole claim is that it's actually better for them because it's not cooked. So those whole food enzymes and stuff like that are all packed in there. So that's the nutritional. So we just covered nutritional, environmental, maintenance, and behavioral needs of the puppy. that was really fast. Where could they go if that went too fast and they want to review it?
KXIC.com. Check out the podcast page. That's one way. Or just come to the store and ask any questions. If anything that you heard prompted a question or a follow-up, make sure to just talk to one of the trained counselors. You could even ask for Ron. You're there a lot of the times. If you're not there, I'm sure they can get in touch with you somehow, right?
Yeah, I have. You'd be amazed on the amount of training we do in the store. I think I'm up to over 50 videos that I've shot so that our counselors, our pet counselors, can be watching these. If there's a little lull in the store, all right, go back and watch a couple videos. And it's just constant retraining so that they understand all of what we talked about here.
Nice. All right. Well, last thing we'll talk about, what is the most popular food at Petland of Iowa City?
It is a product called Health Extension. We have little bites, and then for large breeds, we have a larger bite. It's a holistic-y type food, holistic-y meaning that it is whole. So they're using the whole of things, just like we would normally eat, the whole carrot kind of a thing. Maybe not the green ends, but I think we're even eating the green ends in our salads or something now. We're even like going, hey, well, what is that other part for? Why? Yeah. Are you eating the skins of the potatoes?
Yeah.
They used to be like,
dirt.
No one eats that. And I remember telling my parents, I go, yeah, I went to college and everybody eats the skins of the... No, they don't. That's gross. Parents now eat the skins of the potatoes. So it's the whole of everything. They go through a lot of different designed with the total health of the dog in mind. Direct benefits of antioxidants are observed in its hypoallergenic qualities, as well as in its anti-hypoglycemic formulation. That anti-hypoglycemic, I know they do some extra work in here to make it very inviting for the dog. This is the most enticing dog food I've ever had. We've had it in our store, using it on our puppies for a long, long time. If they weren't eating, we'd throw this in there and they would just launch after it and love it. So if you have a picky eater, this is a great one. The Little Bites formula is the smallest bites that I've ever found in any dog food. So if you're all about that small bites, get that kind, and you'll go, holy cow, that is really small. And then we have the normal size kibble. Going over to Dog Food Advisor, they rate Health Extension dog food 4 out of 5, which is really, really good. They found that the protein levels were at 27%, fat at 20%, and carbs at 45%. That's a really nice mix right there, right? It's like right in the sweet spot for where you want your dog food. They went through trends of really, really high protein, and they found that actually most dogs were actually getting sick over the thing. So they backed back down again. When you're in the grocery stores and all that kind of stuff, they're going to have low 20s protein, and most of that protein comes from the carb side of things rather than the animal protein, where Health Extension is using the animal protein. Something that this is it's kind of the way the dog was designed. The only reason why they knocked it down from 5 stars is because it has dried beet pulp in there. And we've talked a lot about dried beet pulp, and that people say, hey, that's sugar. Well, no, dried beet pulp is everything but the sugar. So when they make sugar for us, beet pulp is one of the byproducts. It is extremely high in fiber. Fiber is an incredibly necessary part of what your dog or cat needs. And this is great for the dog. But because people associate with sugar, they put this bad connotation out there, which I believe is totally false. The sugar, they don't want to give the dog sugar. They want to give that to us because we'll pay more for that sugar. So it's just the pulp portion that goes into the dog food. So really great food, really great mix. It's a chicken-based product, and with some lamb in it as well. So, and some fish. I keep on scrolling down and seeing more. So it's a really well-balanced product.
Health Extensions. Check it out at Petland of Iowa City. We're out of time, Ron. It's always a blast, though. Thanks, and we'll talk to you next time, all right?
Thank you very much.
Don't forget to fill those stockings for Fido and Fluffy and everyone else at the PAWSitively Petland, at the Petland store. This is the PAWSitively Petland show. Catch it Sunday mornings at 9 and on our podcast page. Plus on YouTube, you can see the pups. For Ron Salzard, I'm Jake Capron. Bye.